Snatch my wig right off my head and call me bald as... Never mind. Anyways, speaking of, you know, being a counterfeit, I was thinking about something today, and what if, when the Bible talks about that in the end times that the gospel of the kingdom will be preached throughout the world, what if that is... Now, I want to word this properly because what if that's the preaching of the false gospel? Because along with the false gospel would come the actual gospel. What I mean by that is we have things like prosperity gospel. We have a whole bunch of bastardized versions of the actual gospel. And what if the prosperity doctrine, through Trump as an Antichrist, was propagated throughout the entire world? Just hear me, because... Hear me for a second, because the whole basis of God and man in the Bible is that God uses flawed things. God can work all things together for good. He uses flawed people. Like Moses had a lisp or whatever, and this one and that one. They were flawed people. They weren't perfect people. David was not perfect, but he used him. That concept. So in other words, God can use anything to his advantage. So what if the prosperity gospel, through Trump and his little evangelical minions, propagated that bullshit throughout the entire world, but again, along with it came, a remnant, a small group of people who are actually promoting the actual gospel? Because it does say that the message will be preached, the message of the kingdom, which is the pure gospel, will be propagated throughout the world, and then the end will come. Which means that there has to be a lot of other things in place first. It isn't just a matter of getting on a plane and going, to some bush country and going blah, 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 and that's supposed to mean Jesus loves you. Okay, no. There are other things that have to be in place. Now, if you take that idea, and this is something that was, I don't know, it came to me and it just... Now, I've said for a long time that I think America is the beast. Now, there's an actual beast, which would be your leader, your president. But there's a conceptual beast, like a like a Babylonian, Egyptian, Roman mindset. The beast of that world system, if you will, that has gone throughout history, and you can literally pinpoint different factions. Now, we are a literal conglomeration of the world. I mean, forget the fact that we have all sorts of races and people and mixes of people and so on and so forth. But you look at our country, we have Roman architecture, we have Egyptian monoliths, which, we're a big Christian nation with a Egyptian penis monument over a reflecting pool, which is occultic as fuck, but let's not get into that. We have this, like, you can see different cultures in what we have as a country. And again, I'm not talking just like the people, like, there's brown people, no. Like, there's, white Europeans, and then there's those awful brown people that we can't let into the country. I'm not talking like that. I mean, like, if you look at the way we set things up, our, Illuminati, 33-degree Mason, founding forefathers set into motion, there's a world system here. Okay, the unfinished pyramid with the all-seeing eye, that symbolic bullshit. Okay, we see that. We see a lot of that stuff. Out of many come one, which to me is a literal prophecy of the Antichrist. Out of many, out of like the world, out of everything, one will rise. And it's all symbolic bullshit. E pluribus unum, or whatever the fuck it is. Who cares? But what I was thinking is that America is the beast. Now the actual beast, the actual man beast, the actual little horn, son of perdition, asshole, will be the leader of said thing. Now that's something I should have stated in other clips before, because I stated that America was just the beast, that's it. But obviously with that comes a leader, and I probably should have stated that a little clearer, because the beast is the leader. But the beast comes with his backing. He comes with his leadership, the ones who gave him the crown, the ones, the nation, the kingdom that gave him his power. Along with that comes that. So America is the beast. Like, because a lot of people, America's not in the Bible. No, it is in the Bible. We are the beast. Okay, we are being led by the beast. And in turn makes us part of that. So we are the beast. Now, think about this just for a minute. I've talked about this numerous times in other clips, but we have over 800 bases worldwide, militarily, or I don't know if that included embassies, but we have a presence of like at least 800 throughout the world. Now think about that. Now there are certain countries that we're not really in. Like China and Russia, stuff like that. I mean, there might be like an embassy or something here or there, but there's not like a military presence or anything like that. But no, we have roughly 800 military presence around the world. And the ones that we don't have a military presence in, we surround. We surround Russia. We surround China. I mean, literally, if you took a map and just put like pinpricks into, put little thumbtacks into where we have bases, it's insane when you look at it. We literally have a physical military presence somewhere. We literally cover the globe for the most part. Not everywhere, but we're pretty damn close. Now think about this. What other country has done that? Now, Rome tried it. Not to this extent. Okay? Not to this extent. I mean, we literally have a thumb in every pie. So when you say who can make war with the beast, it's not that far of a jump to say who can make war with America. We have a president now spending $70 million, $700 billion, trillion, whatever the hell number it is. It's some outlandish bullshit. More than what we are spending. In fact, you want to know the guy's honest truth? Trump asked for $70 billion. The freaking Democrats just gave him 80. This old DARPA, DUPA, whatever the hell it is. Yeah, Chuck Schumer has got no spine, okay? Oh, he's the leader of the Democrats. He has zero spine. He basically bent over backwards, gave up on that. Whether that's even worth, I'm not going to get into the politics of that, but that's what they wanted, and he backed away from it and said, "Oh, Mitch McConnell, we'll trust him that this will go to a vote." But oh yeah, Trump, you want a $70 billion? Here's 80. They're agreeing to give him more money than he even asked for. For what? The fucking military. Dude, we spend trillions upon trillions of dollars more than the top 5 countries combined. So name me one country in the history of the universe that has had this type of military presence around the world, and it's only getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's run by a fucking madman. Literally, now you can love Trump, but the fact he's asking, why can't we use nuclear weapons? Because they're bad. Let's just start there. And then he did this thing. I don't know what it was. His administration wants the military to come up with a new. Now I don't know about this. I heard about this. Some sort of some sort of nuclear weapon that's not as dangerous or something to that effect, where there could be like a nuclear bomb, but not. It's more contained in the area that it explodes in. I don't know. Whatever, I don't want to get into that. But my point is this. Think about the fact that we're propping up bases everywhere. Now, if he is in fact the Antichrist will come preaching peace. But then we'll go out he'll go out conquering and to conquer, the Bible says. Now think about what that means. Think about what that actually freaking means. We're talking about a guy who is going to go into all these different places and upend everything. Now, I'm not saying that's even a bad thing necessarily. But in doing so, let's put it this way. First, he's going to go after ISIS. He's going to destroy ISIS. We're going to destroy ISIS. We're America. We're going to destroy ISIS. There might be a lingering a little bit, but they're not going to be what they were. We are going to go in and annihilate them. Okay. Then what else are we going to do? We'll probably go into Syria. We'll upend that. You know what we'll do? We'll put up a base there. We'll go into Iran. We'll probably take them out. We'll put a base there. North Korea, and we probably should go in there and take those fuckers out. We'll put a base there. So now you got 3 new bases. Guess what? With that comes your prosperity gospel. And in tow, the actual gospel from people who are not complete assholes. Now think about that. That propagates the spreading of the gospel. Now, I'm not saying that people aren't in Syria preaching the gospel. There are Christians there, so on and so forth. But it's more of, I think it might even be in tow with military bases. As in, the more military power that takes over the world, also comes Christianity. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but again, the Bible says, once it's propagated to all the world, now, like right now, we do not have a physical presence in some of these countries. It might be like an embassy or something in a few of them, but we don't have a military. You know, we don't have control of them basically. Like, let's be honest, we control a lot of these other places. Whether it's financially, whether it's sanctions, we control a lot of that stuff. We control the world right now. Like, we don't need the UN, we don't need all that bullshit. The UN is just a puppet. Yeah, it would be nice to get them and get some UN troops and use them as fodder. But we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't. Now think about what it means to what we're talking about here. Because if we are in fact the beast, like all these Christians are just, oh, it's so great that they're putting an embassy in freaking Jerusalem. Yeah, and you know what? If we are the beast, being led by the beast, and now we have a American physical presence in Jerusalem. Do you realize the beast has just entered Jerusalem? Do you get that as a Christian? Do you understand that? The beast has entered Jerusalem. The big holy city that everybody fights for whatever fucking reason. Okay. Mount Olives or whatever the fuck it is where Christ's little toe is going to touch down. Okay. The beast has entered the promised land, basically. Now, yeah, we were in Israel. Tel Aviv, but who gives a shit? Tel Aviv is nothing. It's Jerusalem. Everybody wants Jerusalem. Who's in Jerusalem? Oh, ding, ding, ding. Us. And you know what comes with that? Prosperity gospel doctrine. And in tow, the actual gospel. So now, we have actually gone into the city that everybody wants. The city that everything revolves around. We are now going in there. And we have a physical presence there. Another pinprick on the map. Do you understand what that actually means? Do you grasp what that freaking means? All these Christians are like, oh, it's prophecy, it's great, it's Jesus and wonder, no. God bless our president. Yeah, wait till you God bless your president when your president turns on your shit. Now, even if Trump isn't the Antichrist, let's just use Trump as a base model. The guy has got such a freaking ego that you're telling me that in all his great nationalism and all his bullshit, if he's if he's a nationalist, why is he propagating going into all the world? Now I understand. Okay, it's to keep America safe. Okay, but in doing so, you're upending a lot of tea tables here. You're upending a lot of coffee tables. You're upending a lot of problems. You're causing problems. And you know damn well this guy's ego is so huge that once he essentially, I mean, he's basically got America. And then if he moves into the rest of the world, we saw it with George W. Bush. We had 9/11, we went into Afghanistan, and then into Iraq. And we had these freaking wars, and guess what? The son of a bitch won re-election because, we shouldn't change horses in midstream, okay? We shouldn't change lanes. We should keep going. That's why George W. Bush won re-election. It's the only reason. I'm telling you right now, I think we're going to be in a couple wars. Oh, we need the strong leader. We need the strong leader to go in there. Yeah, the strong leader who's going to fucking take over the world. Because you know that fucker's ego. And even if he isn't the Antichrist, you know he's got a strong-ass freaking ego. Because again, talk nationalism all you want. Nationalism is the first step to globalism. Okay? And all these idiots like Alex Jones, you're nationalist. Yeah. But you look at his ego, I swear to God, you're telling me that Trump, and we're talking just him as a base model. If he's not the Antichrist, imagine the actual Antichrist. You're telling me that in his television sitcom mentality, his obsession with ratings and people liking him, and his obsession with just all this bullshit, you're telling me you can't see him going from, oh, let's make America great, to let's make the world great. That is not even a far-fetched step. That's not even, that's not even out of the realm of possibility. That is the possibility. He is going to do that. Because again, once you take out ISIS, once you take out Iran, once you take out Syria, once you take out this one, once you take out that one, what's left? Who's left? And I'm telling you right now, this is something I truly, genuinely believe. He signed that Faith and Freedom Act, or whatever the fuck it was, and all the Christians like, oh, he loves us, he's the greatest Christian president ever, yay! You know what that actually stated when you look at it? It stated two things, that executive order. First off, it didn't really state anything. It stated nothing. See, that's the problem. The Christians had this idea that it was this new revolutionary law that, oh my God, we can finally preach like we want to. Like you haven't been able to do that for, I don't know, the beginning of the country. Seriously? Really? What it did is people have to understand what an executive order is, first off. And you have to understand what this one did. If you actually read what this one is, it's basically saying that you, as a Christian, you have the freedom of speech. You can say what you want, and this administration will not come after you for what you say. That's all it said. But there was a catch. There's a caveat to that. It also talked about, because I think there was that one and there was something else, but there was I can't remember if it was just religion, whatever, but there was a bullying clause. And the way it was set up and sounded like is that, well, if anybody bullies the Christians and say you can't preach about, this, that, or the other, blah, 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 then, the government will go after you. Well, that also applies to you as well, Mr. Christians, because guess what? You want to preach that homosexuals or this, that, and the other. You want to preach that Muslims are this, that, or that. Then it turns into this bullying thing, and they can come after you. But I don't think people are smart enough to even grasp that. I don't think the evangelicals are even smart enough to even understand it, because they think it's this great, wonderful thing for them and them alone. Oh, we can finally preach the gospel. We can finally preach the gospel in 2017. Yay! Because they have this mentality that they're under persecution. And don't get me wrong, there will be persecution. If Christians in America think Obama persecuted them, they've got another thing coming, because it's going to get worse, you nit. You morons. You fucking imbeciles. It's going to get worse. Okay? You want to talk, first off, you want to talk about persecution. How about you go over to third world country and get your head chopped off? How about you do that? What's the war on Christmas, man? No, it ain't no war on Christmas. War on the fact you got no fucking brain cells because you're an idiot. Okay? There ain't no war on Christmas. If there was a goddamn war on Christmas, I would not be seeing Christmas decorations in June, you stupid idiot. Can't say Christmas anymore. You're not politically correct, man. Oh my god. I don't know. But thank thou Christ we can say Merry Christmas now. Ho! Thank God. Whoa. Oh, thank God we got Trump so we can say Merry Christmas. We're all going to hell, but we can say Merry Christmas on our way there. Fuck you. You stupid morons. Give me a break. My damn nose itches. Sorry, my nose itches. I mean, seriously, are you kidding me with that shit? We can say Merry Christmas again, guys. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Shut up. First off, there's more than one holiday. Okay? Now, which is odd. Listen, that's freaking odd to me, because, we love Israel, we stand up for the Jews. Yeah, well, these motherfuckers are spinning dreidels in December too. So guess what? You say Merry Christmas to them, it offends them. You know why? Because they hate Jesus. Not all of them, but the ones in particular, the bulk, hate Jesus. So when you say Merry Christmas, you offend the Jewish people in the nation of Israel that you support so fucking much. Okay? And there's another thing about that. Yeah, we support Israel, but we don't support the Israeli leadership necessarily. Because the Israeli leadership can be a bunch of assholes. If they're doing things that are wrong, we can't support that. We can support the nation, we can support, the people as a collective, but we can't support a regime, good or bad. Hopefully they're doing good. But if let's say they're engaging in genocide, like, I don't know. Let's just say they were. I'm not saying they aren't, whatever. We can't support that. And God doesn't want us to support that. Just because you don't support, Israel can just do whatever they want. No. Okay, this isn't Old Testament where they could just roll over anybody because they're in the way. Like, we're marching through the wilderness, and there's a camp over there. Let's just march through and kill everybody, and stomp around and take their stuff, and rape their women and eat their food. Or actually, we'll burn it because it's all tainted anyway. So fuck it, kill them all, kill the goats, kill the dogs, kill the shoes, whatever. Just move forward because they're in the way. We can't go around them because God says don't not go through the fuckers. Okay. No, we're not living Old Testament times. So you can't just, the Palestinians are there, so let's just annihilate them. And we'll do it strategically, or strategery, if you will. They'll lob a rocket over the fence, and, we'll just go in there with tanks and kill, a couple thousand of them. A couple hundred of them. Okay. Now, if they're engaging in actual genocide, well, guess what? No, you don't support that. I don't think God supports that. Because there's a difference between Old Testament, where there was no Messiah, and you literally had to prove that you were different than everybody else. That's why there were certain rules. That's why certain things were happening. For example, you touch a dead body, you get kicked out of the camp for 10 days. So you don't bring disease and kill everybody. Okay, now, today we have Dawn dish soap. So you touch a dead body, you just wash your fucking hands. Okay, you don't need to be ostracized for 10 days, you wash your fucking hands. Keep yourself clean, okay? So again, we have this idea that, Israel's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Okay, fine. We support Israel, but we don't support whoever's in charge. I mean, okay, what if so if let's say you were the most diehard Christian and like, oh my God, Israel, Israel, Israel. What if liberals took over Israel? What happens then? In your mind, what happens to them? If you're diehard Christian conservative and liberals took over Israel politically for any length of time, are you going to support them? I guarantee you won't. I guarantee you won't. So what happens then? Then your whole world comes crashing down because you're an idiot. You don't understand reality. So fuck you. So yeah, again, you support Israel, but you don't support necessarily the government. Which has multiple ties to the Bible. I mean, was it Ezekiel something or other, where they were asking for a king, and God's like, no, they're not rejecting you, they're rejecting me, so give them their king. Okay. So the people will get what they want. And the Christians will get what they want. And I'm telling you right now, in this lukewarm church that we are in right now, they want the Antichrist. They want him. Now you say, do you want... See, they're almost like a woman. The church is like a woman. You say to a woman, do you want a guy who's a piece of shit, who will treat you like garbage, use you as a cum blanket and just a cum dispenser, steal money out of your purse, and then crawl out the window after fucking you and then walking out? Do you want to be treated like complete garbage, or do you want a guy who's going to love you? Well, I want a guy who loves me. I want a guy who appreciates me. Yeah, but who are you dating? Look at all the people you're dating. You're dating the very thing that you dislike. It's the same thing here. So they are like a woman. It really is. You're basically backing. See, because again, you're not fucking the guy who would be nice to you, maybe because he doesn't have a great job, or he doesn't have a great car, he's not the greatest looking. You're not fucking him. You're not having sex with him late at night. No, you're fucking the guy who's going to treat you like shit. You're dating the guy who's going to treat you like shit. Yet the guy who would actually give a damn about you, you don't give a fuck about him. Okay, it's the same concept. It's freaking annoying. It's just... you get what you give, basically. But no, you gotta have it all. You gotta have your little cake and you will eat it too, because... whatever. I want to get back to the topic here. The topic is, what if... when our dear leader starts going to war, and you know damn well he's going to, because he's not just going to stop with ISIS. Let's say he did ISIS and North Korea. Hey, those are good things. Getting rid of those is a good thing. Okay. Now think about this. 9/11 happened. We went into Afghanistan. We have a base there. Christianity as a collective is now there. Bastardized or otherwise. We now have Christianity / base in Iraq. Think about that. And then you even put it into Trump selling weapons to different countries. Like he's this weapon broker now, which is just, I don't know what to make of that. like what deal, like quote unquote, what great deals he's cutting in the background. I mean, if the purpose is to extend the military presence, well, think about it, because now not only do we have presence in almost every country, we have it all around the world, but now we are an arms dealer who they basically have to not only pay us, which it's not actually not a bad idea, but they now have to pay us, and they are reliant upon us to give them weapons. Well, what if we stop giving them weapons? You know? Now, any good country is going to backwards engineer that shit. So, I don't know what we're giving them. If it's basic rockets or whatever the hell we're giving them. But most of them, the bigger ones are going to backwards engineer that shit. And even the crappier ones, they're going to backwards engineer some of that stuff. So, but we have them in our pocket nonetheless. At least for, now. So, again, I don't know, man. I mean, what would it take to get everybody on board? Because we're setting up this monopoly. We're setting up this world monopoly. We're setting up these dominoes. Now, what would it take for everyone to come together? I don't know. I mean, just shy of an alien invasion. Well, hey, maybe, who knows? Maybe they propagate an alien invasion because the Bible does say that when Christ does come back in the air, that we're all going to turn, the entire world's going to turn their weapons to the sky and try to shoot him out of the sky. Okay. No, I don't know. I'm not saying that's the way it is, but even NASA's been hinting at shit like that. That something's out there, something's coming, Planet X, something's out there. I mean, the simple fact that Trump in Trump Tower has this perverse obsession with Apollo, which, if you know anything about that, think about, Jesus, dude, think about the obsession that we have with the sun god, with Apollo. I mean, we named our space missions after him. Apollo missions and shit. Fucking Apollo Creed. Okay, give me a break. No, I'm being sarcastic when I say that, but you know what I mean. And seriously, you look at his penthouse, and he has that mural over the top, and his entire penthouse is gold. It's like this love letter fuck fest to Apollo. And Apollo, if you follow the progression, and I talked about it a little bit earlier, where you see the world system go from Babylon to Egypt to wherever to wherever to wherever. Okay, you can literally pinpoint it and see it go throughout history. Well, guess what? The same concept of Apollo has also essentially, from Nimrod all the way down through. You got Abandon, you got Apollyon. Okay, they're basically the same guy. Essentially, they whatever. They're essentially the same dude. Now, I'm not saying they're the same dude in different languages, but they're the same dude. They basically are. Not saying he's like some sort of immortal dude who goes from one to the other, or he's just the guy who shows up. Like he's the dear leader of the day. He's kind of like the mini Antichrist leading up to the real Antichrist. I'm not saying that, but he is essentially the same guy. There's no cute way to get around that. He is essentially, Nimrod. Basically, he's a concept of Nimrod. Now, whether it's like some reoccurring version, I don't know. But you can clearly see that they are essentially the same guy. Or at least the same role. They have the same role in history, if you will. That's probably a better way to say it. They have the same role. Now, whether they're the same guy or not, which would be kind of interesting. I mean, shit. Can you imagine the same dude, or like some physical, reincarnated, if you will, maybe not in the actual reincarnation sense, but in the just keep reappearing throughout history version of Satan, like in a physical form. Who's the leader? Who's the dear leader? He's like basically the Antichrist in a non-Antichrist biblical role, if you get what I mean. It's like it's him, but it's not. He's not doing what he's. No, he's. It's weird because if you look at the different cultures and you look at the different time frames, it's like it starts at one and then it moves to another. And it's almost like building blocks. Like you get a little bit from the first one, you mix it with the second one, you mix it with the third one, you mix it with the fourth one, and then it turns into this big world system. And it's like, it's so convoluted and backwater that your average person just can't see through all the bullshit. Like, for example, I'll give you an example of the type of manipulation that I'm talking about. You know, speaking of war on Christmas, you want to talk about an actual war on Christmas, look at some of your Christmas decorations. The fact that we have pagan trees with lights and bulbs and bullshit and angels on top. Okay, yeah, we put up a tree every fucking year, don't you? Don't you? Every fucking year there's a tree, blank, 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 lights a little going. Okay, nobody knows why. Nobody knows why. It's just what you do. It's become a tradition. No, why is pagan bullshit a tradition? I don't know, but it's just what we do. Because it's one of those things where it's like you see it as what it is, but you don't acknowledge it. It's like you don't want to even acknowledge it because you're being blinded by the fact. You know, the world system has acquired the means to essentially put you to sleep. You're like, I see it, I might even register it on some level, but it's a tradition, we still do it. We do that all the time. We are literally being manipulated into doing stuff because it's what we've always done. I mean, think about that. Again, why do you put up Christmas trees and tinsel? What the fuck is tinsel anyway? You know? I mean, seriously. Hang the stockings by the fire with care? I mean, why? Why would you put stockings on? I mean, other than to dry them. But why would you fill them with toys and shit? I don't know. It's just what we do. Put the stocking up, you know. Yeah, I remember getting some great stuff in the stocking. I remember getting some great stuff. So, but hey, you know, risk and reward. You put the stocking up, it fills with toys. Who gives a fuck? You do it every year. Then you have kids, and you're like, oh, I want the kids to experience that too, you know? So I don't know. I mean, again, you see how the world bastardizes stuff. But it does it in such a way that you're like, I don't care. I like this. I don't know why we do this, but I like it. It's like everything else. I think everything in the world works that way. And you can see, again, I'm trying to word it properly because if you take it from like the very beginning, from Nimrod, whose sole purpose basically was to build a tower into heaven and go kill God because of the flood. Like he's just poo-pooey about the flood and oh my God, how dare a God do this to us? And we're basically gonna go and ransack heaven. That's what his goal was. And then you see it manifest throughout the rest of, you know, the next kingdom to come. That was a big deal. And then another kingdom came, and then Romans, and so on and so forth. And you see that every little part of it. Because what happened when the Tower of Babel happened, we were all together, we were all united, and then we dispersed. Which I definitely think could be part of why we see, you know, pyramids and shit in every part of the world. But that's just me. That's just me. Now, granted, because a lot of people say, "Oh, well, Khufu made a temple, and this one, or made a pyramid, and this one made a temple over here, and blah blah blah." First off, we don't know any of that stuff. We we don't know any of that stuff because a lot of that shit was pre-flood. A lot of that shit was pre-flood. So what happened after the flood is you had a bunch of people disband from the boat and then propagate the world, and then people just started spreading out and like, oh, what are these big buildings? And they just take over and start their own culture over there, especially after Tower of Babel. So a lot of people found that stuff and set up shop over the remains of what was there. It's a fact. So you can take it for what it's worth. That's just, my personal opinion on it. But again, if you look at the way it transcended through the history of the world, and what's interesting is this is history that we actually do know. Okay, like we don't know prehistory, we don't know pre-flood history, we don't know a lot of that stuff. We really don't. I mean, we can try to piece it together. But every day they're finding out there's proof that human beings were further and further back. There was a point when it was 6,000 years, and it was 10,000 years. Now we're talking like 100 million years. There was mankind. I mean, it just keeps going further and further back. There's like no, whatever. So again, but this is stuff we actually do know. Like Egyptians, we do know of the Egyptians. Post-flood Egyptians. What they did before all that, who the fuck knows? Like shit, you look at the Sphinx, it is clearly weathered by rain. Now, how much rain did they have? It would have taken a lot of rain. Now, I'm not saying it was flood rain necessarily, but although it could, you don't know. But there was definitely some rain issue there. The Sphinx is weathered, and you can see the little lines where the water trickled down through whatever limestone or whatever the fuck it is. You can clearly see that. So that obviously Egypt was a lot wetter. So at one point it was a lot wetter. Now again, was it 40 days, 40 nights? I don't know. I have no idea. Now it would take a lot more rain than 40 days, 40 nights, but although I don't know, it depends on what was in the rain. I mean, could have been like toxic shit in the rain. Who the hell knows? Can you imagine that? Well, I mean, some of that shit came from the earth, from the core of the earth. I mean, who knows what was in it? I mean, it could have been. I don't know, but I'm just speculating. I'm not even gonna get into that because that's whatever. But either way, we still know that it's not the way they're telling us it was supposed to be. That sumbitch was weathered, so. And we do know that there was some fertile area there. We do. There's proof of it. There's proof that Egypt wasn't just this desert bullshit. That it once was thriving with, life. Okay, so, I mean, it literally is like the Weird Al song. It's like, everything you think you know is wrong. I mean, it's just, it's the way it is. Now, where does that leave us? That leaves us with a lot of bullshit, basically. We're talking about an unseen God with really unseen requirements. Because even if you say, "Oh, the Bible tells us exactly how to live," and blah blah blah, yeah, but even at our best, we're still far from God. Even at our greatest, we are still weak. So yeah, it's a blueprint for life. But even if you went by it 100%, you're still going to fail. Which is weird when you think about it, just simply because you're human and you're, a failure. Okay. No. Let's put that in contrast. We keep hearing about, this is a Christian nation. But let's look at what our Christian nation stands for. I mean, what's the motto of, other than E pluribus unum? I mean, what would Sarah Palin say our motto is? pulls ourselves up by the bootstraps, rugged individualism. That is completely satanic. That is completely evil. That's Luciferian bullshit. The whole point of God and man is for man to do everything in his own power and then come to the end of himself where there's no energy left, there's nothing left, and he has to reach out to God. And God has to give him the strength that he does not have. That's the point. We come to the end of ourselves and we find God. That's the point of Christianity. You don't pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You don't do it on your own. I mean, I'm sorry, you don't. That's evil. Now, she's talking about it more politically. I understand that. But the concept is still there. And hell, you know what? Even if the government does help you, guess what? I'm not going to even say, oh, big government, big government. Hey, you know what? Hey, I will take the blind eyes of justice from the government than I will big corporations raping me at every twist and turn, trying to get another dime out of my pocket, and putting toxic chemicals into the water, and pumping toxic shit into the air. I would much rather have big government say, hey, guess what? You can't do that. Because it's not good for the, majority of the fucking people who don't want to intake that shit. Who don't want to breathe that shit in, don't want to drink that shit. Okay, you have to pay the extra couple bucks to get that toxic shit dumped and dealt with somewhere proper. Okay? But no, we gotta have small government. See, that's ignorant. There's small government, and then there's just you're being a stupid fucking idiot. Oh, we can't have EPA. You gotta, or Donald Trump. We gotta, dismantle the EPA. Why? No, yes, don't get me wrong. There are. I will say that there probably are some rules and regulations that might be a little, questionable. Dumping toxic water, or dumping toxic shit into your water is not something that should even be up for debate. I don't care how diehard conservative and small government you are. They are dumping toxic shit into the water. That is a no. That is a straight no. That is no pass and go, no collecting $200. Go fuck yourself. Go straight to jail, asshole. Okay. They're dumping toxic shit into the air. That should be a no. Now, I understand the logic. Well, the earth regulates itself and you dump that stuff in and blah, blah, blah. No, there is some truth to that. For example, if a volcano goes off, the CO2 emissions that go into the air, yeah, the world basically scrubs itself. But we're talking about us actively doing it on a daily basis where it's continual versus the randomization of a volcano going off or lightning striking a forest and burning it up and, a lot of toxic shit goes into the air there. Yes, in small quantities, it does scrub itself. The earth will eventually scrub itself eventually. But when we're constantly dumping filth everywhere, just even logically, you have to say, you know what? There comes a point where too much is too much. Yes, the earth will eventually catch up. But what happens when the overlap is so much that it's just, the earth just can't keep up? Because we're just dumping so much. What happens then? I mean, you look at smog levels throughout certain cities, and then they actually had regulations that, cut that shit down. You're telling me that you would rather have big corporations dump shit and cause smog and people getting asthma and dying and bullshit because it's a capitalistic system, man? Give me a break. This isn't some liberal fucking agenda here. It has nothing to do with liberals. I mean, now granted, I understand, yeah, okay, you don't want to pay $20 million to have fucking turtle tunnels on a road so turtles, can go under the stupid road so they don't get run over. Now, I understand. And look, from basic human perspective, yeah, when the liberals did that, sure, they meant well. But what happened is turtles wouldn't go into the fucking. See, that was an interesting thing because they paved this road over this area where all these turtles would cross. Well, turtles kept getting run over because they kept going through the thing and going real slow and squish, and they get run over. So liberals came up with this idea: let's dig up part of the road, and we'll put this little tunnel underneath there, pave it over, and the turtles can go underneath the road. Well, turtles didn't want to go under there. It was dark. So what did they do? They dug it all back up, put lights in there, and paved it over again. So turtles then, like, oh, well, we can go in there, blah, blah, and they went in there, and the light was keeping them warm, so they went in there and basically lay down and died. So it's like you can't win. You literally couldn't win. But again, is it necessarily a bad thing? I mean, now you got like 25, 30, 40, 50 turtles dying on the road. Okay, yeah, there might be a problem there. Like, every time you turn around, there's like 15, 20 dead turtles. You know, you can't just sit there and say, well, they'll learn. They'll eventually learn. No, you got to do something. You have to do something. You do. And, because, I mean, do you want to drive through, Interstate 92 and all of a sudden see 85 dead turtles laying on the road? You want to be swerving around that shit and get that on your tires? No, you don't. It's an eyesore. It's nasty. It's filthy. And it's just not cool. It has nothing to do with big government. It's a fact. It's a problem. And it's Highway Patrol who has to deal with it. State Patrol, Highway State Patrol has to deal with that kind of stuff. So, well, what's big government? Well, okay, then we need big government for that, don't we? No, we got to find a legitimate solution. You can't just have them go under the fucking tunnels, camp out by the light and die. Whatever. But I mean, seriously, there's certain things that are just, they shouldn't even be questioned. Like, this whole thing with net neutrality, we keep hearing all these fucking idiot conservatives. Oh, the government shouldn't be telling people, who can have what and blah, blah, blah. Yes, they should. You know why? You know why? Idiot conservative, and I say idiot not because I'm trashing conservatives, but you're being an idiot in this situation. You do realize that, A, they've done it before. Yes, they have throttled your internet service before. Look up history. Look up fucking Netflix. Netflix had to pay a ransom so that, I think it was either Comcast or Verizon or one of them. I think it was Comcast. Whoever used Comcast and you wanted if you had Comcast and you wanted to use Netflix, your shit would be super slow if they didn't pay the ransom. And they ended up paying the ransom. So, because here's a newsflash. They've done it before, and they will do it again. Why? Because it's just what they do. They're trying to squeeze every nickel out of you that they can. And, by the way, Comcast is not the most conservative group around. They are kind of liberal. Verizon, kind of liberal. You know what happens? When you have liberal IPs, internet providers, you know what happens? And they're going to throttle stuff that they disagree with. Guess who's first on the chopping block? Your fucking conservative websites, you fucking moron. You fucking idiots. It's your conservative websites who are going to go first. Because these people aren't as, conservative as you are, okay? And, oh, by the way, especially the culture we're living in now, where we have conservatives who are, I don't know, sticking up for Nazis, sticking up for child pedophilia, sticking up for sexual assaults, making excuses for these things. You're telling me that a predominantly liberal consensus is going to allow an alt-right conservative group to say, hey, Nazis are cool. And they're not going to try to throttle that shit. You're telling me that's not even possible. You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. I mean, at least with net neutrality, your alt-right bullshit at least could have had, a decent connection. You know what I'm saying? So hell, it might actually be for the best. Might actually be for the best. So, again, all these people, it's nothing. You hear like this whole Me Too movement and all these women coming out and all this other bullshit. And I say bullshit collectively, not that it is bullshit, but I'm saying collective bullshit. Um, you hear all these people, and you constantly hear the same one-liners, like, "Why did they have to wait 40 years if there's such a big deal, and it was such a big deal that somebody raped them and blah blah blah." I go on as many of those as I can. I say, you know what? If let's say I took you out back, sodomized you in the asshole, and we'll talk in 20 years and tell me how you feel about it. Are you gonna run right out and say, "Hey, I got a dick up the ass"? You know, I mean, seriously, think about that. Somebody sticks their dick up your ass. Now, granted, not everybody was sexually assaulted in the penile way, but hey, somebody sticks their fingers into you. Okay, that's a sexual assault, but you know what I mean. There's a difference between fingering you and fucking you. There's a difference. So, whatever. But I took it to the nth degree, obviously, because that's what I do. I was like, imagine somebody took you out back and sodomized you in the ass. How would you feel? Are you gonna run right out there and say, "Hey, somebody sexually assaulted me"? Because then you got the thing. Well, are people gonna think I'm gay? Because that's an issue. I mean, it is an issue, especially if you're a young kid, young boy. Your uncle fucks you in the ass. You're like, people are gonna think I'm gay. I don't swing it that way. I don't like it. There's a stigma. It's a stigma. I mean, there is. Even today, there's still a stigma. So, what are people going to think of me? It's just, you're not going to run right out and say, "Hey, guess what? Somebody raped me." You're just not. You're not. You're not going to run out and tell the world that somebody raped you. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of validity to this Me Too stuff. Now, with that comes the woodwork of people trying to get 15 minutes of fame, and yes, there are certain people who definitely are on board with that, and like, "Oh, you raped me," and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Whatever. But, like, shit, I mean, look at Bill Cosby. Yeah, I mean, some of that stuff was 30, 40 years ago, but, like, why didn't it come out, back then? Well, what are you going to do? I mean, seriously. Especially the 80s and 90s, when Bill Cosby was big. Early 90s, I should say. Early mid-90s, I guess. Whatever. You're going to come out and say, "Oh, yeah, that guy sexually molested me." Like, who's going to believe you? And especially if you're a young woman. I mean, that's got to be different, too, because, I mean, seriously, let's be honest, in this society, most people don't take women seriously. Women are not getting equal pay for equal work. It's a fact. So, if you're not getting paid equally for doing the exact same thing, then who's going to believe you? I mean, seriously, how many people do you think are going to believe you versus Bill Cosby? I mean, think about it, seriously. But now you got 25 women coming out and say, "Oh, this happened, same thing," and it's the same story. Well, okay, then there's got to be some credibility there. Yeah, there's power in numbers. But then also comes with that comes a fringe of people who just, "Oh, yeah, Bill Cosby raped me too." I mean, come on. Some of that's legit and some of it's not. But it is what it is. Because the problem, it's kind of, no, it is a problem. It's not kind of a problem. It is a problem. Well, one is the problem that people are raping each other, first off. But it's also a problem being accused of being raped. Because once you're accused, once that gets in people's minds, your entire career is dead. Your entire existence is just completely null and void. Let's say Bill Cosby had been innocent and found innocent. There's still going to be that lingering doubt of, "Oh, he probably did it." You know, like O.J. Simpson. Oh, he probably did it. No, you don't know. Probably the motherfucker did do it. If it don't fit it, don't quit, or whatever the fuck that was. I can't clear my goddamn throat. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, again, once you get that stigma of people think you're this, that, or the other, it is a hard thing. Even if you're proven innocent and all charges are dropped, etc., etc., you're still fucked up. You're still, like, for example, there's this one guy, this wrestler. Well, actually, there's two just recently. Um, the guy's last name is Swan. And he's this really good, talented black guy. He's just really good. He's high flyer. He flips around. He does really good acrobatic bullshit. Well, he was accused of false imprisonment and physically assaulting his wife. And apparently, what happened was they had an argument in the car, and she got out of the car, was going to leave, and he basically put a chokehold on her and pulled her back into the car, supposedly. And that went under false imprisonment, assault, etc., etc. Well, they had to suspend him. Well, whatever happened, police investigated, so on and so forth. The charges were dropped. He's innocent, whatever. Whether he is or not, it's irrelevant. But the fact is, the charges were dropped. How is he supposed to come back from that? Even if they reinstate him, how is he supposed to come back from that? And not have people look at him and say, well, he basically kidnapped his wife and held her hostage. That's what he's being accused of, being holding his wife hostage because she was, and something to do with her GPS was on her phone, and she took her phone with her, and he got pissed or something. I don't know. It was stupid. It literally was fucking stupid. It was just a stupid little quarrel that got a little out of hand, and then now was the wife being a bitch and like, oh, I'm suing him because he looked at me funny, and I just really so pissed at him, And that's basically what it came down to. That she just was like so super pissed with him that she basically just started making shit up because I guess people saw it. And I don't know, whatever. But again, how does he come back from that? How does he go back to be like, oh, I'm a champion again? I got the title. It's just you can't. I mean, he's gonna have to work his shit back up for at least another year or two before, until people forget about it. And then there's this other guy, Enzo, which that's kind of a weird little thing because I don't know how I feel about it, because the guy he comes across, and this is like the actual guy, not the wrestler or the persona. The actual guy comes across to being a scumbag. Like, there's reports he was doing cocaine and stuff like this, and he was just being a complete douchebag. Basically, he let the fame get to him, and so on and so forth. And he comes across as the kind of guy who would be doing that stuff. Just, although, whatever. Well, he was accused of raping somebody. And the problem is, I listened to the girl. She was on TMZ or whatever. And I listened to her tell the story. And her story sounded like complete bullshit. Because first off, why are you up in this hotel room? Obviously, you're there for sex. And she even admitted. She even went out and said that she's, on her own personal, like, Twitter or whatever, that she's doing all these drugs, and she's having sex with all these celebrities, and she's doing all this bullshit. So she's a complete scumbag in and of herself. Saying that he basically raped her. Now, I don't know, because I was watching the court testimony of the gymnast talking about the doctor, and you see the raw emotion and all that stuff, and then you watch this chick, and she's like, And it's just complete dead. It's like there's no feeling behind what she's saying. She was more verbally upset that he ripped her tights than that he had sex with her. Because she starts off with this, oh, he made a move toward me, and I was like, oh, I want to get to know you more. I want to get to know you better first. She's a known groupie. First off, she's a known groupie who goes to these celebrities and has sex with them. That's what she does. That's why she was there. I'm not saying it was right. I'm not saying it was good, but the sister, I want to get to know you better. I want to get to know you better. I'm sorry. That just, I don't know. I just, again, I don't want to take away from anything that may not have happened, but it totally sounds like bullshit to me. Okay, it just did. You listen to the account, and it's like, now, some people were making the argument, okay, because what happened was she woke up the next morning. No, actually, let me explain. Basically, she was there to have sex. He leaves, goes in the other room, whatever, comes back, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, and he picked me up and bent me over and ripped off my tights. And I'm like, no, I said no a whole bunch of times. She's just saying it like this mundane, like, she doesn't even give a fuck. Like, she's just, now if somebody, like, physically assaulted me and threw me over a chair and started sticking her dick up my ass, I would say it with a little more compassion, a little more, like, I care about what I'm saying. She was just, this is what happened. He took me and threw me over. And this wasn't like that one Michael Moore woman where Gloria Allred had clearly written the statement and the woman was reading it and crying. Okay, because obviously you're reading it and you can clearly tell it was Allred's writing. It was just her words and, oh, he took me and then he assaulted me in the back of the, whatever. It wasn't like that. She's literally just telling the story and it was just, there was no motion behind it. So it's like, even if he did rape her, it's like she didn't seem to give a damn about that fact. It was like, yeah, he was there, he raped me, and, yeah. I don't know, that just seems weird to me. Now, I'm not saying I know how everybody's going to react to a situation, but I think it's complete bullshit. It sounds like complete bullshit. It does. Just her... Because what happened was, after he started having sex with her, picked her up, took her into the bedroom, threw her on the bed. Well, apparently she banged her head on the freaking board, and she was more upset that she banged her head and her tights got ripped than the fact this guy is just completely having his way with her. And then she wakes up in the morning and looks over at him. Now, if you rape somebody, why are you going to still be there? It's just... I don't know. The whole thing was just weird. Again, the guy was probably stoned out of his fucking mind. Probably did have a little violent interlude there, but I don't know. The whole thing was just... Even if he's found guilty... Now, they actually fired him. Now, the reason they fired him is because he didn't tell WWE about the fact. This happened back in October, and they found out about it, a week ago? Late January, actually. Well, last Monday, actually. It was their 25th anniversary, which was whatever that was, 23rd, 22nd, whatever that Monday was. Now, how do you not tell your employer that, oh, gee, I'm accused of rape, I might have to go to court, especially when you're on the road and your sole purpose is to, So, yeah, they fired him for that. So, but, I don't know. It's just, even if he's found not guilty, there's no way he could come back from that. There's just no way. There's no way his career is basically fucked. He could probably do some indie stuff, but he's not, WWE's not going to take him back. They might take Swan back, but they're not going to take him back. Well, first off, Swan's too talented, first off, and Enzo's kind of a... He's kind of a pain in the ass in the back, from what I hear. So I don't think they're going to bring him back ever again. But I don't know. It's just like there's this one woman accusing Mick Foley of raping her. Um, now I'm not. I don't know. Her story seemed a little potential, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna, pretend that I know who's telling the truth or not. I'll tell you, this one girl just was. I don't know. I just like I had no sympathy for her, none. Just the way she was telling the story, just like she didn't give a damn. And her whole purpose was to go have sex with celebrities. So this wasn't like her first rodeo as far as that goes. It wasn't like she was just some innocent girl like, oh, let me go meet the wrestler afterward and he can sign my autograph. And oh no, he took me and bent me over the chair and raped me in his hotel room. No, it wasn't one of those things. She knew what she was there for. She was there willingly to do what she was there. Because she wanted to have sex with celebrities. So, again, she literally, and you listen to the way she tells the story. Like I said, she had more compassion and more, whatever you want to call it, about the fact that her little tights got ripped and she banged her head. She had more conviction about that than the fact that, oh, he took me and started having sex with me, and he threw me over the chair and blah blah blah. It was just this. I don't know. I don't want to disparage him. Maybe he got a little rowdy. I don't know. But I want to get to know you better first. I mean, come on, give me a break. The whole reason you were there, and the whole reason you even admitted. See, because again, it's not just one of those. Okay, he's some celebrity, and his people went out and found a groupie, and it's like, oh, why don't you come up to the hotel room? Like, what do you think you're gonna do? It wasn't just one of those things. She's like, because she's one of these people, like a headhunter kind of a deal, where it's like, she'll go and brag about, oh, I had sex with this guy, and I had sex with that one, and this one, and first she wasn't even that attractive, so it's kind of odd, but whatever. So, like, her whole game was to actually go and do this. So to sit there and act like it was some big, I don't know, it's just, the whole thing was weird. Now, I mean, yeah, could she have been willing and it got a little out of hand? Yes, it could have. But when she was telling about the getting out of hand part, she had no conviction in what she was saying. She was describing the worst part of it the same way she was describing the whole everything else. I mean, I don't know. And I don't want to defend him just because, whatever. But again, you listen to some of these, you listen to the gymnasts, and they're literally in tears, and it's like this person violated me, and he did these awful things to me, and you listen to that, and it's just, come on, man. You're going to accuse somebody of something, at least have some conviction behind what you're saying. Bare minimum, at least. Bare minimum. Even fake it if you have to. Fake the fucking cries. Because it's like she didn't care that he had sex with her. He didn't. Or she didn't. She was there to have sex. She knew she was there to have sex. And she openly admitted she was there for that. So again, I don't know. It's hard to take that serious to me. I mean, if you're talking about percentage, there's like a 5% chance that he actually raped her. There is. Bare minimum. Now, did he get maybe a little rough? Absolutely. That's probably, 80% that he got a little rough. But she was there for that. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Because again, it wasn't just this like naive young girl just shows up and like, oh, my favorite wrestler, and he wants to spend time with me, and he wants to meet me and get to know me, and no. She, again, you look at her stuff, you look at her Twitter and her, she takes pride in the fact she was doing this stuff. and she was purposely seeking it out. Again, that doesn't mean that, she has the right to be raped. I'm not saying that, but it's just, she was so mundane and ho-hum about it. It was like, let's put it this way. Even if he brutally raped her, and he doesn't get convicted of it, she's not losing sleep over it. Let's just put it that way. And I don't know, it's like, he could be like the most brutalist serial raper, and even if 50 other women come out and say, yes, this is documented, here's the ripped underpants and the cum stain and the blue dress and the whole nine. And he is a convicted rapist. He's a brutal son of a bitch. This chick is not going to lose sleep over the fact of any of it. Some of the other women, maybe. Not this one. I don't know. That's just weird to me. I don't know how I feel about that. It feels kind of, But, whatever. But either way, even if the charges are dropped, he is not coming back from this at all. He is not. That stigma is going to be there. Now, whether that stigma is there for a good reason, because he's a piece of trash. I mean, yeah. If he did it, he's going to spend time in prison, but I don't know. Anyways, I don't know how I got off talking about that, but it's just, people want to act like certain things aren't what they really are. I don't know how I feel about that. But like I said, if for some reason, like, why did it take 40 years? But again, have you been sodomized in the asshole? Are you gonna run out and tell everybody, hey, guess what? He used my ass for, a love machine. Are you kidding me with that shit? You're gonna admit that to the world? You're gonna admit that? Oh, he stuck his finger in my ass. You're gonna admit that? He stuck his thumb up my ass. No, you're not gonna just run out there and admit that. You might tell somebody, close, but you're not gonna be. You might tell your therapist, but you're not gonna be telling. You're gonna hold a freaking news conference and say, "Oh yeah, he stuck his thumb up my ass." Give me a break. Give me a break. I mean, seriously, it's like, and it's like you try to explain this to these people, and it's just. I don't understand how people can be so fucking dense. Because it's like, okay, if they're dense in that area, I'm probably dense in certain areas too, I admit this. But it's not the same thing. I don't think it's the same thing. I mean, people can have a difference of opinion. Like, oh, I like brunettes versus blondes. Okay, you can have a difference of opinion. But having the whole premise of your existence be so stupid to the point you can't even openly acknowledge basic thought of, gee, why did it take her 40 years to acknowledge this when, hundreds of other women are coming out? Why? Well, again, put yourself in that place. See, that's the problem. I don't think we as a people want to put ourselves in the place of other people. It's all about us. It's all about us. It's all about us. Like, okay, I talked about big corporations dumping toxic chemicals into the water. Now, okay, let me put myself in their shoes. Yeah, I don't want to pay to clean it up. So I just kind of bastardly dump it into the water. Try to get rid of it. Well, you know what? I can look at that and say, hey, guess what? I'm probably a piece of shit for doing that. I should go out of my way to try to fix that. And deal with it properly. So, I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm tired. I've been tired lately. I feel like crap. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm tired of this bullshit. I'm tired of... I would like one fucking day where my president isn't a fucking embarrassment. That's all I'm saying to you. And he does stupid shit. Now, I know there's certain people who love what he does and certain people who don't like what he does. But the news that middle road stuff that he does. It's just, I'm sorry. I would like one day where I don't have to, oh, Trump said this, or Trump tried to do this, or Trump did something potentially illegal, and blah, blah, blah. First off, anybody talking about impeachment, he ain't going anywhere. I guarantee you this. He's not going anywhere. And even if something happens, somebody's going to take the fall for it. I mean, I highly, highly doubt they're going to get him on anything. Which, especially with the Republicans running stuff. Because, it's, oh, Benghazi, Benghazi, Benghazi. 800 Benghazi hearings. Literally, I think there was, 800 of them? I can't remember. I mean, did we ever get the justice for the 4 dead the 4 dead Americans? Because I didn't hear about it, after the election. I didn't hear much about it. It must have found that justice somewhere. I don't know. Of course, it wasn't, there weren't horns and 24-hour vigils from Fox News about all the, people died in like men, or under George W. Bush, or under Clinton, or under Reagan, or under Carter. We don't see that. No, it's just the 4 that, can be tied to Obama and Hillary, because, whatever. It's political bullshit is what it is. Yet, they're going to do that 800 fucking times. Yet, collusion with Russia, no. We're not even going to bother with that, because, hey, it's political. Our guy's in there now, because, give me a break. Give me a damn break. Anyways, my throat's starting to hurt, so I'm going away. I'm going to end this fucking clip. So anyways, you know what? Fuck you. I'm done.